Hey, this is Don from Don's Jewelry Making in Japan Travels. You might have come across my videos on YouTube talking about the Matrix 9 to Matrix Gold transition. I've been asked to talk a little bit about my transitional experience and what I think about it in the new Matrix Gold program versus the Matrix program. And I can say I started this journey over 20 years ago. And I've absolutely loved the program. I knew from the very first time I saw it that it was going to change the industry and that I wanted to be part of it. I knew it was going to be cutting edge, and it has not let down. And to this day, it's still not let down. And I think it's going to continue to be the cutting edge for the industry. Matrix Gold is absolutely a phenomenal program. I was definitely not happy at first when they decided to discontinue Matrix 9 and work solely on Matrix Gold. But after purchasing the program, I can see why. And to tell you quite honestly, this is actually the first time I have opened up Matrix 9 since about 2 weeks after purchasing Matrix Gold. And I have been absolutely loving the program, Matrix Gold. And let's dive into that and take a look and see why I think it is definitely going to continue to be the cutting edge and take over Matrix. And if you want to stay on that edge, you'll probably need to make that transition for many different reasons, which we're going to talk about. So let's dive into that and take a look. Okay, so here we are inside Matrix Gold. You can see the interface is majorly changed. I can tell you there will be a little bit of learning curve, going from all the buttons over here with the colors and everything, going to the menus where it's a ribbon style, going through and figuring out where all those are and where you need to go to. That will be a little learning curve. It took me about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, to be able to get it to where I can flow very easily between commands and find the commands. But that's using it about maybe 3 hours a day, something like that. But it doesn't take that long. And once you get it, it's very quick. You can go through and do things very quickly. But one of the biggest things that is absolutely astounding, in my opinion, with Matrix Gold is the parametric history, of course. I'm sure you've heard about that by now. So let's demonstrate a little bit about that. Let's just go and grab a ring rail here real quick. So we got a ring rail out here, and we're going to add a gemstone to that. And we're going to add it right to the ring rail. This is, I think, new. Didn't have this in Matrix, where you could actually add it right, and you can adjust the height and the size and everything. And over in your dynamics commands, you have all kind of abilities to do all kind of other things. We won't go into depth on that, but you can change the stones. You can do all kind of manipulation. You can input the exact dimensions of the stones, placement, all that kind of stuff that you can kind of do. I just want to kind of show the parametric history that can really, it's really going to change things. It take you half the time, not even half, more than half the time to be able to take one design and change it into 15, 20, unlimited amount of other designs. And I think that's the biggest thing, the parametric history. So we have our gemstone. Let's go ahead and put gem guides on it, right? And gem guides, I'm sure you're familiar with it in a Matrix. So not going to really talk about that too much, but they did add another command in here, and it's your center point toggle. So you have the 4 around the top, right? But now you can add one on the bottom as well, and you can adjust where you want that one as well. But it's just centered right there in the bottom. So we'll just go ahead and take that, and then we'll take this top curve here, this one here, and we'll go ahead and put a profile on it, right? Let's see, tools, profile placer, and there's my profile, and I'm going to swing it around to where it's set. Right now I can go ahead and do it this way, or I went ahead and saved one in my library that is actually centered already, so I don't have to worry about centering it or anything. This one right here, I'll go ahead and click on it, and now you can see it's at my center point, right? And then I can either manipulate them from here. 1.2 I think is what I want. 1.2, and then, or I can come over here to my dynamic commands, and height, just change that to type it in 1.2 and enter. So now I have my profile out there for my prong, right? And I'm just going to drag that up a little bit, somewhere around here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter, and then I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I'll add a profile down here at the bottom, and I'll do that same thing so it's right in the center, and I'll scroll down to grab that profile. There we go, and I'll select that one, and I know it's right in the center, so I'll come over here and I'll just type in 1.2, enter, and it automatically takes me to the height. 1.2, enter, and I have my profile out there, right? And I can adjust that. So from here, what I can do is I can, of course, like, I'm sure these, nothing new so far, except for maybe the center, is do a profile sweep from this one here to this one here, and it'll give me my profile out there, or my sweep, and then I can just kind of adjust it how I want. I'm not going to mess around with it too much. I just want to demonstrate, so we'll take that, and then I'll just go to this profile here, this profile, and I'll go to my tools, and I will just put a cap on it and drag that up a little bit to give me my dome for my top of my prong. Hit enter, and then I will go to tools. Let's see, yeah, join. What do I want to join? This one here and this one, and hit enter. And then from here, and all this is parametric, so I'll take that and I'll go to my transform menu, and I'll mirror it. So it mirrored it over to that side, so I'll just switch the X direction over there, and then I'll do multi, and I'll put it on all four, right? So now I have all my prongs on there, all four. I could have capped that, which would have capped them all and made them all solid. And then I can hit enter, right? Now, if I go to my ring rail, I can go back and say I want to change this to a size 12. You can see automatically it updates. So everything's tied to the ring rail. So I'll go here and I'll take it back to size 7. Click there, and now it's back to 7. But not only is that possible, what I can do is I can go in here, well, hit enter, of course, and select my stone, go back to edit my stone, and let's say I want an oval out there instead. Automatically it updates to the oval. Or if I wanted a princess cut out there, right? So now it updates to the princess cut. So I can take one design of ring that I made and then change the center pretty much any way that I want. You know, cushion. Of course, there are limitations. You don't want to try and get a marquee out there. You'll have to do a little bit more manipulation there. But for the most part, almost all the stones will update. And if you want to change the size, they will update. And say you wanted to go ahead and take that stone and you want to drag it up a little bit, so now you have this down here, right, that maybe you had a gap or something, so you hit enter, you go back to your guide there, and then you're able to go ahead and manipulate that even more. So it's just really very quick to do all kind of things. And of course, maybe, you know, round prongs aren't your thing for let's go ahead and add, before we get too far, let's add an under bezel to this. All right, so let's go ahead and change that under bezel. Let's do something like this one here, and hit select, and so we want to angle that in a little bit, maybe take that in just a little. Okay, so we'll hit enter, and you know, maybe you want to change this profile on this prong. Maybe you don't like the round profiles, right? So you can just go back to your profiles, and you can change the profiles as well. So pretty much you can do and then you can manipulate it, even make it larger or whatever, change the bottom one too, or whatever you want to do, and update everything on the fly as you go. So that is in itself huge difference, right? And just think of the time that you have to do to go back and change the stones, change the head, do all that stuff in the older programs. So this will cut your production time into one design, 15, 20, 30 different rings, majorly down. So you can put one design with hundreds of different ways, and it's just really quick, really quick. So let's go on to something else here. Okay, just wanted to show one more thing on the parametric history, the ability to go back and change things, right? So what I did here is I just made a simple band real quick and put some gemstones in a channel cutter and some cutters for the stones, right? Gem cutters, right? Say, after you get the ring started, you thought maybe this was going to be okay, but you wanted to go back and change. Again, with the parametric history, you can just go back, click on your stones, and then you can actually add stones, and it will actually add the channel cutter and the cutters all updated together. So and then if you wanted to change the size of them, again, it's no big deal. You can just go back and redo everything very quickly. So again, the ability to be able to change things very quickly, right? So I'll just go ahead, and again, this is all parametric. So if I go back and I change the ring rail from here, everything updates accordingly. So the power to be able to make multiple designs, endless designs really, is just remarkable. So let's take a look at let's go ahead and do a little bit with this. Let's take this and let's do the boolean. So we'll go to solid, and our boolean is parametric. So we can take that, select our second surface, and that'll be all these here, and hit enter, right? And we'll hit enter again, and now you have all your stones out there. You got to put prongs on them, of course. So we'll go ahead and add the prongs, and I won't do a lot of manipulation here. I'll just drag them up just a little bit, and then maybe make the diameter just a little bit bigger, and then we'll just go ahead and enter, right? And now what I can do is again, take those stones, and I want to change position. Maybe I want this a little closer, so it updates. I want this a little bit further down. You can and everything will update. And if I had this dynamic mirrored to the other side, it would all update as well. So you can change the entire anything that's tied together. You can update it on the fly as you go, which is again, outstanding. So let's move on to something else. All right, another thing that I really like about the MatrixGold 3 is the new render options that they added in. So if we start up our render, first, if you go to your toggle, right, and you go to, let's see, I think it's Render Studio. Is it Render Studio? Render materials or rendering purpose. Yeah, this right here. If you click this on, you can get the new rendering materials, which are the old Gemvision V-Ray mapping type tools, right? So everybody's familiar with those that have used Matrix before. It's the old style. Now they have cycles, which actually is really cool if you really dive deep into it. There's so much you can do with it. So let's just talk about this for a second. You now have the options of the V-Ray types things. So let's go ahead and take our metal, take it to white gold there, and we'll hit apply there. And then let's take our blue small stones, and we'll apply those diamonds. So now we know those diamonds are going to pop no matter what. They are going to be mapped. not with side, because you don't have to adjust the lighting or anything like that. And then I'm going to take my center stone, and I'm going to come up and go to sapphire, and then I'm going to apply that, right? Yeah, okay, apply, hit it again, apply. And then I'll go turn on Matrix Classic, right? Now, if you just want to get a real quick view of what it's going to look like, you can go to Ray Traced, and let's turn this down to 75 passes, so my computer's not working overtime. So, you know, this is kind of, if you can see that those diamonds are really going to stand out there, right? And my metal looks really good too as well, right? But there's more you can do, right? So we'll just keep that the way it is. And if you combine the V-Ray mapping tools with the Rhino rendering tools, I think you'll find endless possibilities and very, very lifelike photorealistic photos. So I'm going to type in options down here on the bottom here. And I'm going to go to my default settings and scroll down till I see, where's it at? 3 tab, right here. Standard toolbar group 16. So I'll just take that and turn it on, right? So it gives me my toolbar here. And then I'll just snap it up there in that area. And I'll just go to my lights, right? So now I have, let's go ahead and make this big. There we go. Before I do that, though, let's go back. Let's go to my render, and let's grab as a spotlight. Okay, so I'm going to grab a spotlight, and I'm going to take it right there in the center, kind of over my stone there, and then I'm going to come to my top view, and I'm going to hold down Control and a click maybe around here, and then I'm going to, it's elevator mode now, and drag it up something like that, right? So I got a spotlight. You can see it changed, right? So now I have a little bit more light, and I've got a nice shadow going on there, right? Which is cool. And I can come over here in my lights, Rhino lights panel, and I can actually turn on, turn off all the lights. Right, so now it's just the spotlight, which that right there is really pretty cool. So there's a lot of options here that you can play around with, right? So sunlight's a little much, but I mean, so you can play around with these and stuff like that. Let's turn on this here, and you can see the shadow there, right? Maybe that shadow's just not really what I want with that spotlight. It's maybe you want something like this, but that shadow's a little too much. Well, click on your spotlight there, and it'll bring up the properties panel, right? Oh, I didn't want to snap that there. Let's pick that up, and I just want to drag it over here. Now you can change color of spotlight. You can maybe, if you want a red tint, now we got a red spotlight going on, right? There's all kind of options you can do in here. Let's go back, and I just want a white, so we'll just take that. Okay, so we'll switch it back to white, and you can up the intensity of the light, so you can see it getting brighter, harder, deeper shadow, right? So you can make all kind of adjustments here in your Rhino's properties panel for the lighting. You can drop that shadow off. See how it's getting a little less, you know, and then it will update, of course. You can drop the lighting off. You can increase the hardness of the light. There's just endless possibilities to be able to get in there and really set it up the way you want it. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. I'll kind of get it something that looks pretty decent, and then we'll do a little render and take a look at it. Let's drop that intensity off a little. Okay, and then again, you can add the spotlight, you can even add the sunlight, and you can actually make adjustments to those as well. So I'll just take off the sunlight, and we'll just do this render because it looks kind of cool here. Let's get this one back, and let's put that intensity up a little bit more, and let's drag our shadow a little bit more maybe. And again, it's only going to do 75 passes, but you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. Hardness, it looks okay. All right, so let's just go ahead and do a render here real quick and just take a look at it and see what we got. So let's do render. Wait for it to pull up. And we'll turn on our denoiser. And you can see it's really gives you a lot of different options. You can tell those diamonds are always going to be popping because of the V-Ray. The new render for diamonds. And then, of course, the metal, you can get the highlights different depending on where you put the light and intensity and all that kind of stuff. You got a nice reflection going on back here. You got the darkness going on. Really is cool. You can also go ahead and then just stop. Let's say this is good enough. And then you can actually go in and add post effects. There's all kind of post effects you can use. We'll just pick depth of field. And we'll just pick a spot out here. We'll say this little diamond right there, and that'll be our focal point. And now we have a nice little blurred background. Everything's kind of focused right in here, and you can come up with some absolutely amazing renderings with the combination of the new V-Ray and using the Rhino tools. So that's another reason that's really cool. Let's keep moving on. Another feature I think that the upgrade brought to us was that it's really useful and nice, along with the parametric history and everything else, is the advanced signet ring, right? So now we're able to actually get a signet ring out there that we can really manipulate really quickly and easily, being able to do many different types of things with. But I think what I like most about this, again, is the ability to be able to go in there and change things and see what's going on as you're doing it. So if I take my signet ring, I clicked off it, right? Normally I would be locked into that, but I can go back here and click, and then I can go back, parametric history, right? And I can go to my shank profile, and I can click on my, whoops, wrong one, editor, right? And I can drag my editor over, and I can zoom in here, and now I can make manipulation, small adjustments, perhaps you might say, to be able to manipulate my ring just a little bit. I can actually go in and add creases, kind of sharper points. And then adjust those how I see fit. And as you can see, it updates totally automatically. So if I wanted that really sharp, I can sit there and keep manipulating it around. But the key is, I guess, is I can see what's going on right now. I don't have to, hit in. Accept or whatever, and then see the update, and then go back and keep going back. I can do it on the fly, which makes it very, very interesting and very useful and very quick. And that's the whole thing. The whole thing I think about MatrixGold, nobody likes change, right? Everybody kind of fights change, but the updates and changes are usually for the better and for the good. And I think MatrixGold has done an outstanding job in bringing some extra features and basically taking us to that next level. And I can't say I'm disappointed at all. I am very happy and content with my decision to make the transition. And I honestly think that you will be as well. So in your decision process, I hope that I gave you a little bit more information on things that you can use and how it can really benefit you. And good luck in your decision making. I hope you make the right one. Thanks for listening, I guess. Thank you.